Last Monday, IBM lost roughly $30 billion in market value in a single session. The trigger was an announcement that Claude Code could automate some of the most labor intensive phases of COBOL modernization, a business IBM has built decades of consulting revenue around. By the end of February, the stock was down 27% for the month, its worst slide since 1968. This is what it looks like when AI stops being theoretical and starts being operational. Not a benchmark, not a demo, but a specific task automated well enough to threaten a core revenue stream. The same pattern, at a very different scale, is what separates the 5% of AI projects that deliver real returns from the 95% that don't. That figure comes from MIT's Project Nanda. 52 executive interviews, 153 leadership surveys, and analysis of more than 300 public deployments against $30–40 billion in enterprise investment. Only 5% of integrated AI systems created measurable value. The rest are trapped in what the industry calls proof of concept purgatory, permanent pilots that never ship, never scale, never generate return. The technology is not the problem, the decisions are. And for European SMEs operating under tighter cost ceilings and stricter data constraints, those decisions matter even more. After spending the past year analyzing deployments across European SMEs, reviewing case studies, running implementations, and building out a full decision framework, the pattern in the 5% is consistent. Here is what they actually do differently. They start with one thing. The instinct when adopting AI is to think big. Comprehensive roadmaps, multiple departments, transformational impact. This instinct is expensive. A 100-person manufacturing company in Southern Europe engaged a consulting firm to build exactly this kind of roadmap. The recommendation: simultaneous deployment across quality control, inventory management, and customer service. 3 AI systems, 3 integration projects, 3 data pipelines running in parallel. 8 months and 18,000 later, not one had reached production. The budget was eliminated the following year. The word AI became politically toxic in leadership meetings for the next 18 months. The companies in the 5% do the opposite. One use case, one team, one measurable outcome. They deploy on the single highest value task, validate ROI within 30 days, and expand from there. The ambition is the same. The sequencing is completely different. They stop paying for intelligence the task doesn't need. The default assumption is simple. A better model should produce better results. In most production contexts, that assumption is wrong and expensive. An e-commerce company was spending $8,000 per month on GPT-4 API calls to generate product descriptions across a catalog of more than 15,000 items. The output was grammatically correct and completely generic. After switching to a fine-tuned 5.4 model trained on 3,000 of their best-performing product pages, monthly costs dropped to $600. The descriptions improved because the smaller model learned their brand voice, terminology, and phrasing patterns that correlated with higher conversion. Annual saving, $888. The cheaper model produced better output because it was trained on what actually worked for their customers, not on the entire internet. This is the efficiency shift in practice. Research consistently shows that specialized small models can cost several times less than frontier LLMs while matching or exceeding performance on domain-specific tasks. For 80–90% of production AI work, classification, document processing, triage, extraction, quality control, a fine-tuned small model outperforms a frontier LLM on the specific task at a fraction of the cost. They treat data as the real constraint. Bad data destroys projects that appear technically sound. A logistics company invested $12,000 in an AI-powered route optimization system. After deployment, it consistently underperformed their senior dispatcher's manual routing by 15–20%. Weeks of debugging revealed the issue had nothing to do with the model itself. Their historical dataset encoded years of routes built around a single driver who had since retired. His shortcuts, parking spots, and customer habits were treated as universal patterns. The model learned one person's behavior. $12,000 was not wasted on bad AI. It was wasted on the assumption that historical data automatically equals useful training data. The companies in the 5% run a data audit before touching a model. Completeness, consistency, representativeness, recency. If the data is not ready, the project is not ready. No model compensates for fundamentally flawed inputs. They build for constraints, not for capability. The highest performing deployments use intelligent routing between a fine-tuned small model and an LLM API. 80-90% of predictable high-volume queries go to the specialized model. The remaining edge cases, ambiguous inputs, complex reasoning, route to a frontier LLM. One enterprise deployment documented monthly infrastructure costs of roughly $3,000 using this approach, compared to $937,500 for pure LLM API calls on the same workload. At SME scale, the numbers are smaller, but the direction is identical. For European companies specifically, running models locally introduces a structural GDPR advantage. Data never leaves internal infrastructure. A workstation capable of running production AI models on-premise now sits in the 3,000 to 8,000 range. The compliance argument for local deployment used to require trade-offs. In 2026, it increasingly does not. They win on adoption, not accuracy. A professional services firm deployed an AI assistant for contract review, accurate, fast, well-built. Nobody used it. The problem had nothing to do with model performance. Lawyers had to export documents from their existing system, upload them to a separate platform, wait for analysis, and manually transfer findings back into their notes. The net time impact was negative once overhead was included. Successful AI tools win adoption in one of two ways. The first is invisibility. The tool connects directly to the existing system, operates from within it, and the user never changes their habits. An AI that reads, triages, and drafts responses inside your inbox. An AI that surfaces anomalies inside an existing reporting environment. The second is replacement. The tool is so clearly better that people abandon the old habit willingly. Cursor didn't integrate into how developers were already writing code. It made the old way feel obsolete. What kills adoption is the middle ground. A tool that asks people to change behavior without delivering an unmistakably better outcome. Extra steps, separate interfaces, manual transfers, friction that compounds daily until the tool is quietly abandoned. The law firm's assistant didn't fail because it sat outside the workflow. It failed because the switch cost was never justified by what users gained. What it actually cost getting from zero to a production AI deployment, prototype, specialized model, and integration typically costs between $7,400 and $23,100, including specialist labor. Ongoing monthly cost often falls between $500 and $2,000 for a single use case. Across verified implementations, break-even tends to happen within 90 days. Use case monthly infrastructure, monthly saving customer support, triage 6,000, 8,000 document processing, 4,000 for 500 supply chain, forecasting 500, 115,000. These are conservative estimates based on real deployments, not projections. The companies in the 5% are not the ones with the most ambitious AI strategies. They are the ones that shipped one thing in 30 days, measured it, and moved to the next. None of this feels revolutionary, which is probably why it works. A note on the white paper. The full decision framework, ROI calculations, hardware analysis, and implementation roadmap behind these patterns are explored in AI for European SMEs. The 2026 playbook, Fabio Laria, CEO and founder, welcome to the Electe newsletter. This newsletter explores the fascinating world of artificial intelligence, explaining how it is transforming the way we live and work. We share engaging stories and surprising discoveries about AI, from the most creative applications to new emerging tools, right up to the impact these changes have on our daily lives. You don't need to be a tech expert. Through clear language and concrete examples, we transform complex concepts into compelling stories. Whether you're interested in the latest AI discoveries, the most surprising innovations, or simply want to stay up to date on technology trends, this newsletter will guide you through the wonders of artificial intelligence. It's like having a curious and passionate guide who takes you on a weekly journey to discover the most interesting and unexpected developments in the world of AI, told in an engaging and accessible way. Sign up now to access the full archive of the newsletter. Join a community of curious individuals and explorers of the future. Subscribe now